it's Liz Yuille from Old Staples Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today. And today I have got a thank you card. I'm making a lot of these at the moment. I've made best part of 200 for an event that was happening in the village over the weekend, and we still need a few more, so I'm still at it. So, first things first, I am a UK-based Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so if you're in the UK and you need any Stampin' Up! Products, I would be honoured to be your demonstrator. There's a link to my online store and my website in the description bar below. Do remember that I have a newsletter, so if you want to hear about all the things that are coming up first, sign up to the newsletter, and that again is on my website, and you can get there by clicking the link below. Apologies for the very bright nail varnish. It was brighter than I thought it would be, and I just haven't had time to change it. Anyway, today I am using up scraps. I am at that point where I need to clear out old product to make way for new product, so I am using up scraps, and I'm using the scrappy strip technique that Bruno Bertucci, Kylie Bertucci's husband, who is a demonstrator in Australia. Kylie is a demonstrator in Australia. He masterminded the scrappy strip technique, so I'm using the Free as a Bird designer series paper, or is it the Bird Ballad designer series paper, and I've picked out one of the stamps from the Free as a Bird stamp set. This is carrying over. It is currently a bundle with the stitched nested labels dies. So if you want the bundle price, so 10% off, you need to get that in your basket now. Come the very, very beginning of June, when the new catalogue goes out, which is on the 3rd of June, the new catalogue launches, no more bundle price on this stamp set and the dies. So if you want both and you want to save 10%, please put it in your basket now. It's really pretty, and I've picked out this, just the thank you, because as I say, we're making thank you cards. I've got quite a few strips already chopped up, and these are just literally the scraps that I had in my workroom. So I fussy cut this out, so this is a scrap, and I've just cut strips. Another one that is just a smallish piece and not really good for much else, maybe a scrapbooking page for layering. So yeah, I've used a piece of the designer series paper that I've just cut out using the layering circles dies, and I used the third largest for the picture of the straight circles, and this one, I think, yes, for the white shimmer glitter paper. The glitter papers are all going. We're getting a new glitter paper which is multicoloured, but any of the existing glitter paper will be going. The rose glitter paper has already gone, otherwise I might have used that for this. So this one uses a piece of Petal Pink card, and because Petal Pink is one of the colours in the suite. This time I'm going to be using Pool Party, because that's one of the other colours in the suite. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White, which is just fractionally smaller. Measurements, as always, will be on my website, and that's what I'm going to use to do my layering. Now, you can layer either with a gap, by which I mean you can, and this would be better if you were putting white on white. So if you were putting it onto a white layer, but I'm using colour, so you could leave a little gap in between, and the recipient would almost not see this piece, so it would look as if you've managed to layer it straight onto the mat, but straight. I, however, am just going to butt everything up because it's quick and easy. So I'm just going to start by putting some snail around the outside of my card, and I actually want to get as near to the edge as possible. Now, it can be a little easier to do the liquid adhesive, because then you've got wiggle room, but it's not difficult to do it with a dry adhesive. It will still work fine. Just want to get a little bit closer to the edge there. As I say, the edges are the bits that are going to get caught. So you just start by deciding which piece you're going to put on the edge. I actually like to go slightly over the edge, and then I can just trim it down. And you just build up your pattern. And you can just keep on keeping on until you run out of space. So really simple. I do try to have the thicker bit at the top and then the bottom. You do want angled pieces because then it just looks a little more dramatic. You can just use bits of cardstock. That would work as well. But I'm finding it's a really good way of using up all these annoying little bits of pattern paper that you had hoped to use up, and you kind of haven't got there yet. And rather than just popping them in the bin, which would be such a waste, I'm just using them up. And of course you've got the two sides, so this is actually the same paper as the keys, it's just the other side. That's actually very straight, so I might save that for the end. What have we got on the back of that? Okay, I've used that already, so let's pop the feet down again. And pop another striped piece down. But it really is, as I say, a really easy and useful way of using up some of your scraps. Kind of want another piece of the green if I've got that anywhere. Have I got any more of the green? Yes! So all I'm going to do, and you can do this with a trimmer, I'm using my mini guillotine because it's quick and easy, but you just pop it into your cutter and just cut some kind of random strips. Simple as that, no fussing. I might do another piece of the footprint back to front, although I have got one there. But while I've got my chopper out, so I want another of the green. And another of the one with the blue background. I don't think we've got... Oh, that's the one I'm going to put at the very end. Oh, I could do stripes going the other way, couldn't I? In fact, let's do it that way up, then I don't have blue against blue. And just want a narrowish piece. And then I can pop this bit on the end. Actually, I might use that way up, because I don't think I've got... Whoa! Don't want that sticking down just yet. So it's not difficult, it's just a little time consuming, but not tremendously time consuming. And then you just grab your paper snips, turn it over, and I find it's much easier to trim this away using my snips than a guillotine, because I just run my snips against the edge of the cardstock. And by having this bit of the blade pushed against the cardstock, you are pretty much bound to be straight in your cutting, she says, and then goes off, of course. You see, that's what happens. I go, it's really easy, all you need to do is X, and then suddenly I fail to do X. So I hope you are all keeping well wherever you are in the world. In the UK, we're getting to the point where, depending on which of the 4 nations you are in, depends on exactly where you are with coming out of lockdown. As at filming this, we're waiting for a little more detail, but we have been told that things are going to ease a little, because our R rate, so the rate in which the infection is being spread, is currently just below 1, which means that fewer people are getting it for the number of people that have got it. So for every 10 people that are getting it, at the moment, even if it's 9 or 0.9, only 9 people will get it. So it is on that downward curve, which is quite nice to hear. Right, so to stick this onto this, all I need to do is make sure it's the right size, which it is. Grab some liquid adhesive. I've got an open one. That was a new one. Can't use a new one until I finish my old one. So just add some adhesive to the back. Now, I definitely like using the liquid adhesive for this bit because it's a very, very narrow margin that I've got around my mats. You could make this piece a little bit smaller, so just trim a little bit extra off 2 of the sides, which would make it slightly easier, but I like it as it is. So I've then got I've used a different bit of the designer series paper, and I'm going to pop this onto my glimmer paper with dimensionals. Dimensionals work really well onto glimmer paper. They're probably the best adhesive for glimmer paper because the adhesive sort of sinks into the glimmer. You could use tear and tape. You can use you can use liquid adhesive, but you'd need quite a lot, which would then buckle your designer series paper. So I prefer, I'm going to go over this way actually this time. I prefer a dry adhesive on designer series paper if possible. So on this version, I had everything coming out this way. Because my bird is looking that way, I'm going to have everything coming out this way instead, because it sort of feels better. I've got a scrap of petal pink, a scrap of pool party, and a scrap of basic grey. And it's the basic grey that I'm going to heat emboss. So I've got my powder, I've got my embossing buddy, which isn't in the new catalogue. So if you want one, you know what I'm going to say. Get it now. Ink up your stamp. And I'm going to come in from both ends. I'm not going to have it right on the end. And I will probably end up trimming this down a bit. Stamp into my embossing powder. And I'm going to go in a couple of times just to make sure I've got good coverage. Or indeed 3 times in that case. Pop my lid on. I always like to make sure the lid is on the powder before I do anything else. And then grab my heat tool and my trusty cheese board. Heat up my heat tool. So do remember, if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can do that really quickly by just clicking on the bell, clicking on the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. If you click on the bell as well, you'll get notified when I have videos posting. So let's just turn my gun off. Now, as I said, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, you can do that over on my website. I am in the middle of planning my next card kit in a box. So if you would like to get your hands on that, sign up to the newsletter, because that will be one of the first places I share it. The very first place I share it will be on my VIP customer Facebook group, but after that it'll be to my newsletter, and this will be a very limited edition, so just be warned. So if you want to have a chance of getting it, you need to make sure that you are signed up to my newsletter. I'm only sending it to UK addresses. It's all I'm really allowed to do under Stampin' Up policy. So yes, keep your eyes peeled for that. Now I'm using my tailored tag label punch just to flag the end. You can just do it manually if you would rather. I'll do the blue one manually just to show you what I mean. So that's that. Actually, I'll flag on a scrap first. So all you would do is cut in and then go from point to centre and point to centre, and then you get a nice even flag. I do like using a punch if I can, because then it's going to be exactly the same angle on all the pieces. And it also means you extend the use of your punch. So don't just think of your punches as being the basic shape that you've got. You can use them for all sorts of things. Now, you will see here that I've got them all overlapped because I like them overlapped. So I'm going to have, let's just cut them down a wee bit because they are a little bit long, just a little bit long. Use those for other bits. So I'm going to have the pink at the top this time. So I want that quite a way back. And then the blue at the bottom. And I want that one coming out a bit more. So probably about like that, I think. So what I'm going to do is turn everything over and try to keep most of it in the original place. So pop some adhesive there, that's that attached to that. Then this was going to come back the way. Don't like the angle on that. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then just trim down a bit more. And we can then attach this to our piece here. Going to come that way a bit. Yep. And then snail there for that piece. And a bit of snail on that. Tuck that in under there. Press that down, and then I've got a few little pearls just to add a little bit of subtle bling. And I take your pick tool, because we've got quite a lot going on, so I don't want too much in the way of pearls because it would just add too much fussiness. Whoops. Let's pick that up that way up. And yeah, we'll go. I like triangles, so we've got a nice little triangle there, rather than a line, or clusters of work, but yeah. So there we are. Oh, I hadn't started that on its card blank. Duh. So half a sheet of paper. Doesn't matter whether you cut it long and thin or short and fat. Half a sheet is half a sheet. And I think I mentioned a while ago that someone did suggest that if you cut it one way, you could get 2 card bases out, but if you cut it the other, you couldn't. Half a sheet is half a sheet. So, yes, there we go. So, 17 minutes. It was quite a time-consuming little project to put together, but there we go. I hope you enjoy that. If you would like to leave a comment and let me know whether you prefer the Petal Pink or the Pool Party, I would love to hear. If you've got any other ideas of papers that you could do this with, you know, what paper are you going to be using the scrappy strip technique? I would love to hear those comments in the comment section below or over on my website. But if you go below the description bar, you'll find there's an area to comment. I am trying very hard to reply to all the comments. Sometimes I do get a little behind and I do apologise. I will always reply to any specific question or query. Very happy to do that. Sometimes I miss the, gosh, those are lovely cards. I will always acknowledge it, but I may not always be able to actually type a reply, so I do apologise. But if you've enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Do remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and my newsletter, particularly if you are in the UK and want to hear about my next card kit in a box. My last one was amazingly popular. As I say, this one will have a cap. The last one did sell out. I had to scrabble around and try and find some extra bits to put some extras together. This one will be a question of there will be X number and that's it. So yes, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Keep well, keep safe, be alert. Thanks a lot. Bye!